Hey guys, Kitchen Table Magician here. Welcome to another episode of Pack of MTG. This week, the results are in from the last two builds that we did. If you'll recall, we have a red-white Amonkhet build that is we built 2 weeks ago, and then last week we did an Hour of Devastation build that was blue and red with a splash of black and white removal. So we played these against each other, best 2 out of 3. I actually wound up only going 2 games, and I don't even know what to say. This wasn't even a contest. Hour of Devastation could not get into this. I honestly think that the white-red Amonkhet build that we have here would probably have been a tournament-winning card pool. This is absolutely insane, the pulls that this got. We have Gideon of the Trials, Glorybringer, Seraph of the Suns, Harsh Mentor, Glory-Bound Initiate, ungodly amounts of removal, Fanbearer twice, really good flyers, and even the filler is really pretty good. You got the Inciter, the Sure Shot with Reach, 2 Unwavering Initiates, the Crop Mate, which can bring something back, the Sparring Mummy, which can untap an exerted creature, and even the Emberhorn Minotaur with Menace. This is so freaking solid. I don't even know what to say. This is probably one of the best sealed limited card pools I've ever seen. Oh, and don't forget Hazoret's Monument, just for that extra card draw. All right, so what we built with the Hour of Devastation was red-blue to try and take this on, because that's what our strongest colors were. Our bombs, we have Hour of Devastation, which was really, really, really good. It did go off the one time and almost won the game. And then the other bombs are just, they're middle-of-the-road bombs, but they're there. Enough flyers, right? Plus we have Angler Drake, who's a superstar. When you play him, you bounce something, right? That's really good. I thought this would be a bit closer matchup. The removal here, again, was excellent. Went after all the best removal I could find in this mix, and I was able to splash for the black and white because the mana fixing was just there. Some really good card draw, and then the rest of it's just the board dirtle that you get, right? And then the mana fixing was spectacular. So I really thought this would play out better, but between the two Fanbearers in Gideon, red-white Amonkhet is just able to pin the board down and come in with the Glorybringer and the Seraph of the Suns. It's just, this is really, really hard to deal with. In fact, game 1 went so fast. The Amonkhet deck literally went Fanbearer turn 1, Glory-Bound Initiate turn 2, and then Gideon of the Trials turn 3. I mean, it just ramped out, and it was into the Glorybringer by turn 5. And just railroaded. In the second game, it went a little slower. The Hour of Devastation deck did put up a fight, was actually able to deal with the Glorybringer by sideboarding in Chandra's Defeat, and was able to exile the Seraph of the Suns with Final Rewards, so it was able to take care of 2 of the deck's biggest threats, but it just got pinned down by the Fanbearers and by Gideon, and just the dirtily ground combat. The Amonkhet build just won it. So, yeah, Amonkhet 2-0. So, second week in a row, so it'll be moving on to a third week, trying to defend its title. And this week, we're going to open, I think we'll just do a straight-up Amonkhet build this week and see if that's what it takes to knock this one off the throne. All right. Okay, so here we have 6 packs of Amonkhet, which we will crack, and we will do a sealed deck with, and we'll try and take on that red-white monster that we have in the other Amonkhet build. How I do this is I'll open the first pack as though I'm drafting, and we'll make a draft pick out of that, and then I will just go through the other 6 packs real quick. So, if we were drafting, this would not be a first pick, but good for later. Again, a little bit later. Seeker of Insight, draw a card, then discard a card. This is some decent card draw, but not first pick. This is potentially, it's 5/5. Anything that's that big is kind of bomby. That's a maybe. This is sideboard. Aven Initiate definitely is first pickable. If we don't see anything other, I would put this over the Colossopede at this point. 3/2 flying with Embalm. That's pretty good. Painted Bluffs, that's nice fixing. I do like these Bitterblade Warriors. I don't know if it's a first pick, but it could definitely be a third, maybe second or third pick. these are actually very strong. Violent Impact, that's a sideboard card. When another zombie enters battlefield under control, you mean that's a sideboard card. Synchronized Strike, if you get into that exerting a strategy, this is a really good, but not first pickable. Oh my goodness. If you get into a cycling deck, this could be okay. So far, I'm looking the Aven Initiate. Crocodile the Crossing is really a pretty good card, but I would not take it over the flyer. And then lastly, the rare here is Plague Belcher, 5/4 for 3, and it has Menace. When it enters the battlefield, you put 2/-1/-1 counters on a creature you control. Whenever another zombie you control dies, each opponent loses life. This is actually pretty solid. This is a great build-around card. I'm not sure if in sealed it's quite the bomb I'm looking for, although it's quite strong. But I do think the Aven Initiate is probably the way to go with this first pick. And then I've got a full art plains. So I would take the Initiate, but the Plague Belcher is definitely very, very strong. Alright, so let's get into these other 5 packs. Alright, pack 2. Alright, I like Hieroglyphic Illumination. This is a really good piece of card draw. I'm just going to kind of go through the commons real quick here. We'll get to the back, see what we've got hanging in the rares and uncommons. We've got a Manglehorn, an On-Cop Champion, Cast Out. This is really good removal. Aven Mindcensor. I love the new artwork on this thing. This is so cool. I have a Time Spiral one too. And a Foily Island and a Plains. Alright, pack 3. So I don't know, what do you guys think? You think we'll be able to take on that unbelievably good red-white deck with what you've seen so far here? I know it's kind of early, but... then we have the Wayward Servant, the Vizier of Deferment, another Angler Drake. I love this thing. Soul Scar Mage. That's not... I don't know if that's a good... Could be a good build-around card. I haven't done anything with these yet. I have another one. Maybe I should try. Cartouche of Solidarity and foil. That's nice. And an island. Okay, this would be our third, 1, 2, 3, nope, 4th pack. Going through this real quick. Evolving Wilds, I always like to see that in the card pool. It knows I'm gonna, maybe I'll be able to open up to a few other things. Lord of the Accursed, Start to Finish, Vizier of the Tumbling Sands, and Hazoret the Fervent. Hey, we pulled one of the gods. Nice. So maybe we can build with that. Pack 5. Rolling through here real quickly. Nice piece of removal. Okay, we have a trial. So the Edifice of Authority. I do like this card. This reminds me a lot of like Icy Manipulator. This is nice at pinning down the board. Spring to Mind. Cascading Cataracts, not the best in a limited mix, unfortunately. Okay, so our rares haven't been that great. I haven't really seen anything super bomby, but until we get a chance to really sort the card pool out and work through it, it's always hard to tell on this initial fan through. Protections is not playable. Destined to Lead. Gravedigger. Rags to Riches. This could be something, right? Rags, that could be something. Alright, so the rare mix wasn't that spectacular, but let's go sort this thing out and see what we really have. Alright, so I've had time to sort these out and go through them and arrange them by color and just kind of get a feel for the mix. And I'm going to start with the lands, and then I'm going to go through the colors based on what I think is the weakest down to the strongest. So with the lands, I got 4 lands, a Cradle of the Accursed, which I'm not excited about at all. Cascading Cataracts, which in a limited build isn't very good. I am excited about the Evolving Wilds and the Painted Bluffs because that means I'm going to be able to splash into some good cards that will be in off colors. So I'm happy to see both of those. All right, so the weakest color, I believe, in this mix, in a vacuum, really, is white. It does have Cast Out, which is a premium piece of removal, and it's got Aven Mindcensor, but then after that, there's just a lot of filler, in my opinion. So that's white. Probably won't be playing with it unless I splash for the Cast Out. Next is green. Green's got a couple of beaters. It's got Colossopede and Crocodile the Crossing. It does have the Cartouche of Strength, which is basically green removal, but then after that, it's just looking like a lot more filler for the most part, and a lot of dirt here at the back. So that's green. All right. Blue, I ranked as the 3rd weakest color. even though it has Angler Drake, which is probably the biggest bomb that is in this card pool, to be quite honest. And it does have the Aven Initiate and the Shimmerscale Drake, so it's got a couple of pretty decent flyers behind it. And a little bit of card draw, and then a little bit of stuff on the ground to gum up the board. But it doesn't really have any of the blue, outside of maybe a Floodwaters. It doesn't have any out of the blue control that I like to see in a blue mix. I'll probably be playing blue, obviously, because of the good amount of flyers that are in here. Blue will still probably be one of my main colors, but I don't think it's the strongest color in this mix. I think it's kind of a horse apiece between black and red, honestly. I've got a couple of decent bombs, Ceradon and the Fervent, although Hazoret is more of a build around kind of a card. The question you have to ask yourself with this is, okay, if it was just like an enchantment or something like that, that just you played it for 4 and then it had this other ability to be able to discard cards to deal 2 damage, would you play it if that's all it was without it being potentially a creature? A lot of times, maybe that's okay. In a sealed build, it might be still playable just to close out games. Other than that, it does have some good removal. I do have good removal. I have Electrify, Magma Spray, and Blazing Volley. The Mage is also potential additional removal on top of it. And then just some stuff on the ground. And then lastly, I have black with the Plague Belcher, which I also think is a bomb. I think I ranked black just a smudge above red, and I think it's my strongest color overall because Plague Belcher, some very good removal again. Wasteland Scorpion is a nice death toucher, but I have zombies in here. I have zombies all day. I have lots of white zombies too, which will synergize well with these, I think. I got Lord of the Accursed. So I think I've got some synergy with the black zombies, the white zombies, and probably red removal and blue flyers. I don't know. I hate mixes like this because there's no real clear direction. I mean, there just isn't right out of the gate. I'm really have to sit down and work it out. I'm definitely going to play with Edifice of Authority. There's no reason not to in any build. This is an Icy Manipulator kind of an effect. And then for the multicolors, I have On-Crop Champion, which is not in the colors. I might be playing Wayward Servant. Spring to Mind is probably not going to happen. Destined to Lead probably won't happen. Rags to Riches probably definitely will happen. I think this is actually a bomby card. -2/-2 to creatures, and then later on potentially gain control of one. Start to Finish is probably playable as well. In fact, I know it is. So, yeah, I don't know what direction this build's going to go. We're going to have to sit down and work it out. All right. Okay, so here's what I came up with. It is in 3 colors. There just wasn't enough synergy in 2 colors to stay that way. So it's solidly in 3 colors. I chose black, white, and blue. And I'm just going to go through this real quick. Let's start with removal. Turns out that I didn't need to put any red removal in here. There's enough black and white, and it's very good. I'm happy with the selection that's here. Splendid Agony is -1/-1 counters. Final reward Exiles. Cast out Exiles. Start can get you a couple of creatures first, and then destroy a creature later. And then Rags, I'm really happy about -2/-2 to everything. And later on, maybe the richest part might close out a game potentially, but it's the Rags part I'm most excited about. And it's all good. The final reward will deal with the Seraph of the Suns. It will deal with Gideon. Splendid Agony will be able to cut Seraph of the Suns down to size. Cast Out will be able to deal with Seraph of the Suns and Gideon. So I'm happy with all of this. It gets around all that indestructible crap that's in that other deck that I know I'm facing. Then I've got Zombie Tribal. Believe it or not, lots of zombies. So I've got the Lord of the Accursed, which is the Zombie Lord, and then 4 black zombies to go with him, and one of them is Gravedigger, so he'll be able to bring a zombie back. And I've got white zombies for days, so I'm going to be able to just gum up the board with zombies, hopefully. I know I'm going up against a fairly aggressive deck, so I'm just hoping to be able to gum things up. Exile is his biggest threats. Then I went with all of my flyers. This mix had exactly 4 flyers. Angler Drake is a really big bomb. I'm curving out pretty low, though. The biggest thing in my deck is the Angler Drake at 6 mana. The Shimmerscale Drake's at 5, but it does cycle out for 2. So that's the only things in my deck that cost 5 or more. So the mana curve's pretty low, so I'm comfortable playing 25 cards. Obviously, I'm going to play with the Edifice of Authority in any build I do. I played with these 2 that embalm. They're the only 2 that I have in my card mix because they'll come back as zombies, and they're good support. You gain a life when a creature token comes in, and Tah-Crop Skirmisher is just a nice aggressive little 2-drop that you can embalm later. Okay, these other two are just support cards. Wasteland Scorpion is a 2/2 Death Toucher, and Vizier of the Deferment will let you save one of your creatures that's about to die. If one of your bomb is about to die, you can bounce it, and it'll have really good synergies with the Angler Drake for sure. And then lastly, I'm just filling it out with a Vizier of Tumbling Sands and a Dune Beetle to just help gum up the board. Both of these cards have enough toughness to survive the Rags card if I need to pull that off. These two guys will both survive that. Plus, Vizier of the Tumbling Sands, would you quit moving around? Also lets me untap any other target permanent. So it will let me untap lands if I need to double down on some mana. It will let me untap a creature if I need a blocker. I think I'm going to get a lot of work out of this guy. So then I'm just going to round it off. 25 cards. I've got 15 lands up here, evenly split between the 3 colors. I am playing Cradle of the Accursed because I can turn it into a zombie. I wouldn't normally play this card, but I think there's enough zombie synergy here to justify it. Evolving Wilds and, of course, Painted Bluffs to just help smooth out the mana curve. So that's what I came up with. I'm hoping that I can gum up the board and be able to take care of those fan bearers in that other deck and just be able to deal with his biggest threats by exiling them, and then just be able to get into this with combat and get into this with that red-white Amonkhet build that's just so nasty. All right, well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. As always, comments are welcome at the bottom and feedback. And if you like this video and want to see more of this, thumbs up and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.